And that, he seemed normal at first when he said all of that, but like, you know, when someone's real big and they kind of like use their weight to seem somewhat intimidating.
Yeah.
That's like kind of the vibe he gave off from the beginning.
So you met him at a restaurant, right?
Yeah, the steamer.
All right, so now tell me, start telling me what the clues were for you that like when you sat down, because you said he was talking about true crime and specifically the Gilgo Beach stuff.
Yeah, so when we sat down, like it was basic talk, all normal stuff, seemed normal. And then he was like, oh, are you a true crime buff? And I am, I'm not gonna lie. So we got on that subject and we talked about like certain serial killers and little things. And I said, well, have you heard of the Gilgo Beach murders? And I said, yeah, everybody from Long Island has, we're all following that case. And then he started like talking about it and he tried to say like, you know, he and hypotheticals and like what he thought. But it was the way that he was saying it didn't seem like a true crime fan who just wanted to talk about it.
Help me understand. Like, what were you picking up?
Like his body language kind of changed and like his eyes were like as if he was in a different place. Like he was picturing it all over again. Like he wasn't like quite, it was weird. He almost kind of made the victims like seem like people who didn't matter. So,
how so?
I don't know. I feel like he was just like, well, they were all escorts anyway, kind of thing, or like just little things like that.
He was saying that to you?
Yes.
So, all right, so he's saying that. What else were you picking up on him that you were like, this guy, I got to get out of here?
The way he talked about it, that was like 100%.
So it was like he was into it? Did he suggest at all that it was him or no?
No, but the way he talked about it seemed like somebody who like really wanted to be able to brag about what they did but can't. And I feel like he told girls that were in the situation they were in or vulnerable or wouldn't go to police because that gave him the opportunity to be able to kind of brag about it and in a not obvious hypothetical way. He was almost like agitated that I didn't want to go home with him.
So he wanted to go home again afterwards,
yeah, towards the end, he asked if I was going to go back with him. And I didn't want to be like impolite. So I tried to be nice, and I was like, you know, it's really late. I'd have to follow you all the way out to Nassau. I don't know the area, and I have to drive back at night. And he was like, oh, no, you should leave your car here. Why would you take your car? You could just come in mine. And that, like, really, like, weirded me out. I was like, I wouldn't get in the car with somebody. I don't know you. I'm not going to get in your car. And
how did he take it?
He seemed just agitated, like, oh, I paid for a date. I came all the way to Suffolk. Like, I'm here and doing all this work, and now she's not going to come back with me.
And how does it end?
I ended, well, like I said, I called a friend. And
right, but like body language wise, what you know, how he was when he left, like, you know, what do you remember?
I was scared because he had this very like overpowering, like
standing over you kind of deal.
Yeah, kind of intimidating. He tried to give me a hug goodbye, but it was very like uncomfortable and weird, and just everything about it was very, very strange. He seemed like he enjoyed talking about it too much, not like somebody who empathizes with the victims and is following the case.
Did he seem to be fascinated with like the how or where the bodies were or who he thought did it? Like where did his curiosity take him?
Yeah, he would bring up like, he brought up the bags they were in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And like how? Like how did he talk about him? The camouflage burlap?
Yeah, the burlap sacks. He just talked about the burlap sacks and bodies going into burlap, and he said like
how so? What did that mean, bodies going into burlap?
He tried to, I'm not gonna say who, he tried to kind of be like, I said, who do you think it is, hypothetically, and he tried to put the blame on somebody and kind of relate it to the burlap sacks, just to, I guess, make me feel more comfortable. But I don't think at the time they had even talked about the burlap sacks yet.
Did he talk about his appetites? Like, because one of the things that...
like what he liked to do?
Yeah, because one of the things that made the cops think it was time to move on him, because, you know, they have to do this balancing test. Like, we got to get as much good stuff to have a strong case versus the God forbid if he does it again on our watch.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really started to concern them was that he was searching more and more, reportedly, for like, you know, like rapey porn, you know, for lack of a more sensitive term. Did he come across that way to you?
Yeah, he seemed like somebody who was like very rough. He didn't seem like a soft, tender kind of person in any way.
Did he talk about it that way in terms of what's he into or no?
No, because like people are very discreet on when they talk about it beforehand. Usually it's in person, but I was so weirded out. I had no intention of that happening anyway. So like I didn't even breach the subject. I wanted out right after he talked about the Gilgo.
Do you remember anything that he said else about the murders, or why he was interested in them, or whether he thought there were more or anything like that?
I remember him mentioning the total, 10. He said, like, isn't there 10 people? And I remember him mentioning a girl from Jersey. He said, oh, there's that girl from Jersey. They're wondering if it's connected. He's like, I think it is.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to NewsNation.